Now that Paulo has analyzed the legal issues presented from the facts of his case, exhausted all attempts to settle with his opponents, and determined that the Orange County Court in the state of New Huntington is the proper jurisdiction and proper venue to hear and decide his case, the case of Paulo may now be ready to enter the court system and begin the pleadings phase. This means that Paulo plaintiff, as the party initiating the action, drafts, files with the court, and serves on his opponents his complaint against Drake and Dolly. A complaint is a type of pleading document that initiates a lawsuit and is the first document filed in the pleadings phase. The pleadings phase is one of the four major parts of a lawsuit. The pleadings phase is when all parties in the lawsuit draft, file, and serve their respective pleading documents. The purpose of each party's pleading document is to notify the court and all parties in the case of each party's positions, legal claims, and/or defenses. For example, the plaintiff's complaint pleading against the defendant sets forth the initial legal claims that form the basis of the lawsuit. The defendant's answer pleading, made in response to the plaintiff's complaint, sets forth the defendant's positions, legal claims, and/or affirmative defenses. The plaintiff's complaint and the defendant's answer are often the full extent of the pleadings phase. However, depending on the facts of the case, the defendant may include with their answer another type of pleading, often called a counterclaim, against the plaintiff, which is, in effect, the defendant's complaint against the plaintiff. The plaintiff would, in turn, file an answer in response to the defendant's counterclaim. The defendant may also include two other types of pleadings: a cross-claim, often called a cross-complaint, which is the defendant's complaint against another defendant in the case, and/or a third-party complaint, which is the defendant's complaint against a third party, meaning an individual or organization that was not named in the plaintiff's complaint. Both the co-defendant and the third party in this scenario would then file an answer to the defendant's cross-claim and an answer to the defendant's third-party complaint, respectively. This diagram represents the potential scope of the pleadings phase in a particular lawsuit. The complaints and/or affirmative defenses made in all of these pleadings combined, in this example, create the overall framework and limitations for the entire lawsuit, and are generally the full extent of what may be asserted in the lawsuit by all parties.